Hey, welcome to another video from Just Two Dudes. My name's Louie.
My name's Seth.
Alright, this is going to be our Iowa State review. Crazy game.
Yeah, it was a crazy game. A bad game. It shouldn't have been a crazy game, but bottom line is still found a way to win. We still won, and that is the most important thing at the end of the day.
When you get deep into your conference schedule, these are the type of things that will happen.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that Oklahoma and Texas would have loved to have had 1-point victories the other day.
Yeah.
And not to get too far off the subject, but when you see all of us power conference schools struggling,
yeah,
this is what Boise State, this is what you know nothing about.
Right.
This is why I'd love to see you kicked out of the top 20. But that's another story.
Now let's not get going.
Did you play without your top 3 quarterbacks because your conference is super tough and your quarterbacks get the crap kicked out of you? No, you didn't. Okay, so the game the other day, 1-point victory.
Yeah.
The only prediction I had before that game, what did I tell you before that game started?
You told me literally right before kickoff when coverage started that you just had a feeling that this was just going to be a really funky game.
Funky. And I think after this game, I don't think anybody would argue that that was a funky game. Funky.
Yeah.
SHIT happened.
Yep.
Funky everything happened.
Absolutely.
We saw some really crazy stuff. Absolutely the funkiest thing, and that's the last time I'll use that word, that I saw was Paul Rhodes and the officials like this. I am surprised that they didn't turn to kiss each other. Remember, we're father and son. This is my boy. This is
I'm
basically...
not kissing you.
That's all right.
All right.
You good boy. Basically, this is Paul Rhodes and the officials all day.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get over it.
Yeah, that was really annoying to me because I know if Bo was doing that, he'd be told to get back.
Right.
Although Bo's a lot more angry than a lot of other coaches.
You know, Cousin Travis, he said something interesting. He goes, it's like Dan Beebe told Paul Rhodes, you get 10 calls to use any way you want them during the game, so make sure you use them. And at times, it's like Paul Rhodes was over there telling him what to call.
Yeah.
I mean, and it just gets old. You know, we don't have to keep going over it. You guys that watch our videos, you're the same people watching the games. You're the same ones that know what's going on.
Yeah.
The worst actual call that I saw, and I don't even know if it was a bad call, but Roy Halu's fumble, they only showed the correct view one time.
Yeah.
And it was the view to where you could see his whole leg down. If they would have zoomed in on it, you could have saw where the ball was. I thought myself he was down.
As did I.
But they just kept showing the same view that was like insignificant. It meant nothing. You couldn't see anything.
Here's my biggest thing with that. Bo was mad at this play because he was held up for a long time.
Right.
And I think Bo, not necessarily mad that he was held up, but last week when Courtney Osborne hit Blaine Gabbert, Blaine Gabbert was called down before he even hit the ground. And then his running back is being stood up for 5-6 seconds while people are ripping the ball.
Right. And Bo even said that at
exactly.
halftime.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. That's why, you know, I understand why people don't want to think there's a conspiracy against Nebraska, but those are examples that I just can't get out of my head.
Right.
And that's my biggest problem with these reviews.
Okay, at the start of the game, I got really upset because one team came to play, the other didn't come to play.
Yeah,
if you guys ever had the pleasure or the unfortunate opportunity to view a game with the two of us, basically we start fighting from shortly after the kickoff. And sometimes
3 hours after.
Sometimes it gets pretty gnarly. I was so disappointed the way we came out in that game.
Yeah.
At one point in time, Pierre Allen, 270, 280 pounds, Austin Arnaud had 4 guys around him, and Pierre Allen basically jumped on his back for a piggyback ride. That's not coming to tackle. That's not coming to hit. That's not coming to smack the shit out of somebody.
And do you think...
Which at this point in the season you should.
And you think, especially with the way we lost to them last year, you think we would have came out with a lot more of an attitude from the start.
They were giving us piggyback rides at the beginning. That's not good to set the tone. Another thing that was, I'm the last person in the world that was surprised by this. I said it all last year.
You actually, I'll give credit to you. You saw it the first time you saw him roll out and throw a ball.
First time I ever saw Cody Green, I said he'll never be anything. When you get your freshman hot shot quarterback in, you can kind of tell right away whether or not they have it.
Like Taylor. Like Taylor Martinez.
Perfect.
It's not even a question.
Eric Crouch, Vince Young, Colt McCoy, Matt Leinart,
Taylor Martinez.
All those guys. The first time you saw them, you knew they were good.
Yes.
Cody Green is an emergency quarterback at best.
Yeah.
I myself, I don't know why we didn't see LaTravis Washington. It got so bad at one point that Rex Burkhead, and I don't think it was much as a design to run the Wildcat.
I think it was a necessity.
It was a necessity because Cody Green is 100% ineffective. He got hot a little bit there in the third quarter. I'll give him credit for that. But if we had to have him start our final hopefully 5 games. Hopefully we get to the Big 12 championship.
Right.
I don't see us winning anything other than Kansas and Colorado.
Yeah.
This kid is so ineffective. It
is bad when a running back is a more effective quarterback than your third string quarterback.
Yeah.
And Rex Burkhead, he did a phenomenal job. I mean,
Rex looked smooth.
He looked very good. Of course, everything he did was a wildcat, but also it was the read option. It was good. I think that's the guy that the coaches trust the most to handle that. And I think the coaches trusted Rex Burkhead more than they did Cody Green.
Yep.
And here's another thing. Cody Green can't get players to play for him. And you know what? If Rex is in there, maybe the offensive line blocks.
The number one thing a quarterback has to have for him is he has to have the team behind him, and the team has to want to move the ball for him. They will not do that for Cody Green.
No.
And everybody says he's a nice kid, he's very humble, but whatever it is about this kid, that offense, the other 10 guys will not play for him.
Right. And
they just won't. That's an excellent point.
They've shown this year that they'll play for Taylor Martinez, and when Zach Lee is needed to come into the game, they'll play for him too. They won't play for Cody.
All right. A couple weeks ago, once again, I'll bring up cousin Travis. He said it's time for Rex and Roy to carry us. I said no way, because the O-line's not capable of letting that happen.
The whole line's proving you so wrong.
Last 2 weeks, Louis, wrong.
Yeah.
O-line was pretty good the other day. They had some breakdowns.
Yeah.
But Rex and Roy the last 2 weeks have easily carried us, and that's great to see. What else do we got?
Deontay Evans comes into the game, starting for Denard again, and he starts the game good, picks up a fumble, returns it for a touchdown, was called back and called down.
Yeah, and then, right call. That was the right call.
And then he gets substituted for Anthony West, and Anthony West was, let's just say bad.
He's no Dennard, that's for sure. He kind of got picked on. The offensive line, not as good as the week before, but they played all right. They played
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad showing. It just could have been a lot better against inferior talent.
Right, because here once again we're going up against the 92nd ranked defense
and
in the country.
We didn't do what we were supposed to do against them.
Right. I mean, I think they outgained us the other day too. We barely pushed over 300 yards.
It was bad.
And I know everybody's going to say, well, you were without your 2 top quarterbacks.
Right.
Which, trust me, that makes a world of defense. There are so many times we saw Cody attempt to play to where if Taylor's in there, that might be a 30, 40, 50-yarder.
Like we saw Cody try to get to the corner a couple times, and he got a 2-yard gain. Right. But if that's Taylor,
and the first guy to him just drops him like it's effortless.
It's right there. He doesn't fall forward. He's like what, 6'4", 225, and he doesn't fall forward.
The most ineffective thing I saw on Saturday was the blitz package. It rarely worked. When it did, of course, we got a couple picks off of it.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple sacks. But I think probably 2/3 of the time they picked it up, and they picked it up with ease.
They picked it up, and it wasn't that hard for them to do, and it led to one-on-one matchups. And you can't, as good as our DBs are, you can't win every single one-on-one matchup. When you blitz,
Prince did.
Prince is the only one that can.
Prince, the other day he did.
Right, and when Denard's on, he has that ability too. But not everyone. When teams throw out 3 or 4 receivers, 2 of them might not be open, but 2 of them might be open.
Right. 2 crazy plays. You know, everybody wants to concentrate on Niles Paul's fumble, and that was catastrophic. The score is 24-17. You got to feel like if we get the ball there, at that point in time, they're not stopping our offense.
He almost did what we've been waiting for all year. He almost cost us a game the other day.
But I think what was equally, don't want to say stupid, but it really cost us. Rex Burkhead fielding that punt inside the 5.
Yeah.
You have to let that ball bounce. There's no difference between getting the ball at the 3 or the 1.
You're still limited either way. Especially,
drastically.
Especially with a third-string quarterback, it really doesn't matter.
And you know that's something that at this point in time in the year, you know, we just can't have that. So Rex with a massive error there, fielding the ball inside the 5, and then Niles. We just don't even know what to say anymore. We've probably harped on him every single video we've done this year.
Just because he probably has the most athletic ability on the whole team when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
He is so dynamic.
He does.
And it's just, he never shows up. You see flashes at times, and then you just see the most bonehead plays from him.
So, if coming into Kansas, if there's no Taylor Martinez, there's no Zach Lee.
He practiced today, by the way.
Cody Green.
Yeah.
I don't think after, when they go and they watch the film, I think Cody Green's probably going to grade out not so hot.
Yeah.
So I think you see, this week, I think you see a lot of the crazy corn again. I think crazy corn, fool. That's our Wildcat.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Corn. I got you.
We'll have Rex back there. I think he did a really good job running that.
Well, it is Monday night, and Taylor Martinez did practice. So.
Yeah, but he practiced last week too.
Well, right, and we saw him during the game. He could barely run. Hopefully this week he's ready to go, or even Zach Lee. Zach Lee, I have full confidence in him that he can win against Kansas. Both of them. Cody Green, that's
Zach Lee can go 3-0. I'd have confidence in him going 3-0 down the stretch.
Yeah.
Taylor Martinez, I really like to go 3-0 down the stretch.
Absolutely.
Zach Lee, I think, can go 3-0 down the stretch.
He'll need
Cody Green. Dear Lord, I'd hate to go down to Texas A&M with Cody Green.
Especially with the way they're playing right now.
Right. I don't want to go down there with Cody Green. Right. And then can you imagine the fits that Colorado already gives us knowing they got our 3rd-string quarterback?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that sounds like a nightmare.
Hopefully we get Taylor back this week. That'll just help everything
out. All right, you got anything else?
You know, I know it was a bad day for the defense, but we got to point out Eric Hagg.
That final play was played perfectly by Prince and Hagg.
Yeah, they both saw, but a good throw. If that's a good throw, I don't think we win that game. The guy was open,
but he's down in the end zone where that wind was swirling.
Yes, and Prince and Hagg played that perfectly. Hagg, as soon as he noticed it, it's like he just shot out of a cannon, went right over there, and just once again, the most dependable guy on the defense, Eric Hagg, comes through. All
right, so Big Sue missed the PAT, by the way. It was amazing that he even got to try it. One thing I want to say before we go is, what were we in the BCS last week? 6th?
7th.
Okay, we were 7th. And 2 teams in front of us lose, and yet we get jumped by 3 others. LSU, I understand.
Yes.
But I just don't know why we're not sitting there at 6.
Neither do I.
But at this point, a win is a win.
On that, since we're out of time.
All right, guys, we're about out of time. Catch you later.
See ya.